Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. It's K.L.P Aftermath. Morning with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is a wonderful Tuesday night, and it's a great night to be here in the studio to perform another podcast. This is the K.L.P Aftermath podcast show presented by Our Heart Media. I'm your gracious, highly favored, humbled podcast host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas here. Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
New K.L.P.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast of K.L.P Aftermath. Like I say, I am so glad to be back here in the studio. Hopefully, everybody's been having a great, fantastic week thus far when it comes down to whatever it is you do for the week. If you're a 9-to-5er, there's nothing wrong with my 9-to-5ers. If you are dabbling into entrepreneurship, it's always a grateful thing to be there. And if you just chilling at the house tonight and you're tuned in to me, thank you all so very much. I really do appreciate everybody for tuning into the shows, right? Broco podcast, that was yesterday. Me, T, and Jackson, we were in the studio. Very, very good to perform a good episode like that as well. I get very, very interested in doing my sports show, the Broco podcast with you, T. T, if you guys don't know, Terry is our producer for this show. And Jackson Smith, and then we got Johnny Carson as part of the show now. So it's been very, very good. Johnny Carson from the Johnny and David show, by the way. A lot of people don't, they're probably saying, who Johnny? Johnny's on the Johnny and David show, another show from K.L.P Entertainment. We are so glad that you guys have been enjoying the sports talk. You know, we were dabbling more into it. We've been doing it now, right? But I'm very, very excited when it gets ready for football season. Football season's on the way. I watch a lot of, let me tell y'all something. Here's my secret. And there's nothing wrong with it because I kind of feel, I don't want to say I'm big like the big sports talk shows like First Take, right? ESPN or Pat McAfee's show, right? Down to Cam Newton's show, right? I watched an episode of Cam Newton's other show when he's not with ESPN, right? His spinoff show for YouTube. And let me tell you something. I had no idea Cam Newton got it like that. This guy is so funny and so hilarious on his spinoff show. He built a whole set, right? He has the desk, the background. He has a sports ticker. That when I saw that set, I was just like, oh my God. And it looks really clean. It looks really, really nice. He's probably spent a lot of money on that set. And just to see that it just looks so, and it looks so professional, right? Cam Newton's going hard into this. I saw an episode, and I always get inspired because us podcasters, you know, we always want to perfect our craft, right? Fortunately that I'm an independent, y'all, right? We're K.L.P Entertainment, we're independent, right? We're not signed. I mean, we're semi-signed to iHeartMedia for distribution purposes, but we're not like on a big, well, iHeartMedia, that's a big network, but we're not sponsored big like ESPN, like if you're on First Take, for an example, or Pat McAfee, of course, ESPN is sponsoring those shows, right? We're not there. I do think that if we were there, that would be fantastic, right? But it's also something to be proud of if you have your own media, you have your own set, you have your own thing, and you're able to stay independent, right? Cam Newton has a subcontract with his professional show, but now he have it to where he's developing his own show. And I go by that to say is very, very humbling because, you know, I get inspired from like Cam Newton. I do get inspired by First Take and Pat McAfee, even though they're semi-signed to ESPN, but Pat McAfee's different, right? Because he can cuss, he can do whatever he wants because he is the star of the show, right? I do like these sports shows that are coming out for social media, right? Whether it's on an audio platform down to YouTube, all of these sports analysts and journalists and broadcasters are figuring out the algorithm to do their own thing. And I get very, very excited because, you know, I kind of feel like I'm a part of that, right? I may not be as huge as Cam Newton, right? But we're growing ever so slightly, and we're just, we're building sets. We're having our own talk show. Excuse me. We're having our own media. I get very, very excited for that stuff, seeing that stuff. And those shows like Cam Newton, for an example, and I don't want to ride on them too much, but like Cam Newton, for an example, he's being his most authentic self in his show. And I think I like it because we're getting a most authentic version of Cam Newton. It's his show, it's his program, it's his whole idea, it's his money he's invested into the show, and he's getting the views on YouTube, right? So I get very, very humble with that. Same thing with Joe Budden, right? Last week, Joe Budden was featured on the Times Magazine, of course, made in approximately $20 million a year for the Joe Budden podcast, right? Again, it is just the independents are here making money and they get more of a cap, right? Rory and Mal, for example, that's another show that I listen to, apart with Hip Hop Radio, right? They are independent, but they get the most money out of it. Now, I'm not sure. I mean, the whole them letting Julian go, I kind of disagree with that because I think he has a very nice voice in the show, but that's another topic for another discussion for another podcast. I just get very, very dabbled into it. I'm very happy to see all these independents. And I say that to say that I know Fox Sports, Joe Taylor, along with others, their shows got canceled. A lot of them got let go previously. And I agree. And then this is part of what Cam Newton said on his show. And I agree with them. Somebody like Joy Taylor, and so much of the other people that's on the show. Of course, I think first things first, and Colin Howard, their show is still on Fox, but all the other shows got let go because Fox is restructuring, as well as ESPN. Everybody's restructuring. I do want to say to Joy Taylor and other people that got let go of their shows, their sports shows, go build your own. Go build your own. I agree with Cam Newton when he says, if you had a sports show on Fox Sports or ESPN or whoever, and you somehow unfortunately got let go because the company wants to restructure, go build your own show, right? It doesn't have to be immaculate, but I'm pretty sure if you're able to build your own show, you're going to be just as successful. Let me tell you. Shannon Sharp, for an example, right? We all know he's part of First Take with ESPN. He's taking a break because of his scandal, right? Things are going on with Shannon Sharp. He said he's going to be back for football season. We'll wait and see. But when you have Club Shay Shay, that's his own thing. He built his own set. He built his own marketing tool. He built a lot of that up for Club Shay Shay. So that way, if ESPN say, nah, Shannon, we don't want you for football, we want to terminate your contract, he can go build his own show. And quite honestly, I think we need more black sports shows anyway. There's no knock on Fox Sports. There's no knock on ESPN, because if they knock on my door and say, hey, Kennedy, you're dope, we want to have you on our network, by sure means I'm going to say yes. But we do need more black sports shows, I feel. There's nothing against my white counterparts because, again, I'm a big fan of The Herd, right? I love that show. I like First Things First. I like, what's the other, Pat McAfee. There's no shame on my white counterpart sports journalist, but it's okay to have a little bit more of black sports shows. Like, for an example, Semi-Black, The Facility, right? Love that show. Love it. It's okay to build your own show if you got let go of these, right? You got to think about how Shannon Sharp became his own, branded his own thing. I'm pretty sure if Pat McAfee, again, he got that deal, that millions upon $1 million deal with ESPN. So I don't think they're going to let Pat McAfee go because Pat McAfee is making a lot of money for ESPN. So they'll be dumbfounded if they let Pat McAfee go. But if Pat McAfee was let go from ESPN, he's just going to build his own thing and take his boys with him too. I think his boys are loyal to him. Pat McAfee has the money to where, okay, I'm let go. I'm fired from ESPN. Okay, I'm going to go do my own thing now. I'm going to go build my own show. That is where the content's going. A lot of this independent work of podcasting, like me and Joe Budden and all the other big podcast shows, we're independent because it's our own thing. We're building our own sets. We're building our own equipment. So I do say that to a lot of people because I know Joy Taylor and a whole bunch of other sports analysts that have these sports shows that got let go. You could just build your own show. And hit me up if you got if any of y'all who got let go from Fox Sports need help performing and building a podcast show or radio show or talk show. Hit me up because we can help you with that. But I'm just saying you can build your own show. It's not the end of the world. I know I've been a lot of people because even my barber. Shout out to Byron again. Let me get an air horn for Byron. Byron had asked me did I know about the latest firings from Joy Taylor and others, and I kind of knew of it. I just didn't come around to really talking about it. But I really do think that, again, guys, if you have enough money that you made from these sports shows, you can go and build your own show, right? There's nothing wrong with being able to build your own show, and it works out really well for you. Honestly, it works. There's something that I love to do. I really love to build my own. So that way you're an independent, you have more of the contract, you have more of your thing there. So again, it's not the end of the world. If you got let go, you just built your own show when it comes down to it as well. Before we move on, hopefully everybody's having a grand, fantastic week so far. Again, like I mentioned, guys, I do say to a lot of people, stay nice and cool, because yesterday, Atlanta was very, very hot yesterday. It was. I know Phoenix, Arizona. They have the new record of 118 degrees down there. Of course, when it comes down to Chicago, of course, last weekend we were in the Chicago area for the National Medical Association conference, and then we saw the news that on that news show that Chicago was supposed to be getting warmer and warmer and in the 100-degree range. When we were leaving. So, like I say, I hope everybody stay very, very nice and cool when it comes down to it, because it is getting hotter out there for sure. I stepped outside today, T, and it was very, 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 very hot. Let me tell you something. This weather is real. I had my AC in my car cranking because it was just it's getting warmer and warmer, but it felt good because I was able to get some sun on my way to the gym. Had a good gym session. I had to make sure that I wanted to talk about this thing too, because the gym. Let me tell you something. This is kind of like a I guess side story before we get to the nitty and gritty of the podcast. I hope that I don't show me being angry. I don't know. Just something about the gym today just annoyed me. I like to go in with my workout, and thank you guys, by the way, who saw my latest workout videos. You guys have been watching, because that new song, It Depends, Chris Brown, Bryson Tiller, oh my God. They know what they were doing with that song, T. That song, real quick, let me get on that song real quick. It depends. Look, Chris Brown and Bryson Tiller, we needed a summer bop. We needed a summer inside the house chilling bop, R&B vibe to it, singing to the ladies out there, and they delivered. Coming and down, that hit you well for real. Let me tell you something. That song is viral right now. I'm seeing on my TikTok, every lady's doing the It Depends challenge and trying to look good on TikTok, of course. Twerking and doing their moves, trying to look sexy on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. So I get it. Hell, if I was a dancer, I'd probably do the It Depends challenge too. I'm not that big of I dance, but I'm not a professional dancer, right? So I didn't want to butcher the challenge, but let me tell y'all something. That song, that song is quite good. They gave us a summer bop. They delivered. I honestly do think Chris Brown and Bryson Tiller, we should get an album. I'm just saying. And maybe feature some other people, some other artists, right? But if we had a Chris Brown and Bryson Tiller album, even if it's an EP, I think that would be very, very good. I really, really do. And so Chris Brown is, he's making his rounds. He's on tour. He'll be here in Atlanta in August 30th. I'm trying to see if I can score some tickets to go see Chris Brown, because I'm a huge Chris Brown fan. He'll be here in August in Atlanta for a part of his tour. Even if we don't get a Chris Brown, Bryson Tiller album or EP this year, because it takes time to make a good album, I would want them to make a very, very good album and probably push it for next Valentine's Day. I think that was going to be, if it's Valentine's Day season, I've noticed an influx of a lot of R&B singers giving us a whole heap, a lot of songs in February because it's the Valentine's season, right? That will work marketing wise. That will work really well for Chris Brown and Bryson Tiller. I think it could work. But if that is not the game plan, I would love to see a Chris Brown, Bryson Tiller album or even EP this year. Of course, have It Depends as part of this because It Depends is a single, right? And it could be to where Chris Brown is cooking up another new album and we just don't know about it, right? He's been cooking up a lot of stuff. Chris Brown is spitting songs like it's candy, in my opinion, and he's good at it. I haven't had a Chris Brown song where like I wasn't feeling that. It Depends. I listen to that song at least twice a day nowadays because it's really that good of a song. And that would have been the song that we played here on the podcast. But if you guys know, I don't play music at the beginning of the show anymore simply because a couple episodes got copyrighted. So I just rather not destroy the channel. But that It Depends channel is really, really good. I was dabbling into that into the gym. I was going to the story of me in the gym getting kind of annoyed today. I don't know what it is. I think everybody is just going through something. I tried, and maybe this is something. It's a story for you guys, the audience, but maybe this is something I need to work on because I try not to be as. And I'm not angry in the gym, but the one thing that grinds my gears, excuse me, is this. The one thing that grinds my gears at the gym is if I am working out and I'm setting up my stuff. So typically after my cardio session, which I've been going hard in my cardio lately, I like to, after my free weights, I like to do, what do I like to do? I like to use like the bar and I put a 10-pound plate on it, on the bar. And then I have like a 24-inch platform to where I can do my sit-ups. And then I have the rotation yoga balls and the kettlebells ready for me in one area. I say to a lot of people, when you're in your space and you claim a space at the gym, I say to a lot of people, don't walk over people. I don't know what it is, T, and audience, but I find that to be very, very disrespectful, right? I'm setting up the handbar on the hinge there and have a 10-pound plate. And then I had one of the trainers, I guess he was training another young lady, and he was in my bubble, right? He's just in the way. And I'm like, okay, and I'm patiently waiting, right? But you're fumbling putting things up and you're taking your sweet time, not acknowledging that a person's here trying to work out and you're in their space, right? Because I don't want to move and hit them and hurt them with the bar because the equipment is heavy. And then the young lady he was training, I'm over here about to do a lift and she steps over the bar and just did not acknowledge that I was there. First of all, boo-boo, you ain't even that cute to be doing that. You ever notice that some girls out there in the gym, they try to do these things just to annoy the fuck out of me because they think they so cute doing it? You ain't that cute. I've seen cuter girls in this gym than you. Right? I've seen it. Where it at? Where it at? Shots fired. I ain't used that button in a while, T. It's just one of those things that it just annoys me so much. It annoys me so much that, and not all the trainers, right, at the gym, because majority of the trainers I love the most. One trainer that I talk to a lot, but she don't really talk to me that much anymore. I don't know. Maybe she just don't like me that much anymore. It sucks, but, I guess it is what it is. But Brandy, shout out to Brandy for sure. She always give me a smile. I just think, and I'm always going to say this because I've talked about this before. Doesn't matter if it's Crunch, doesn't matter if it's Planet Fitness or LA Fitness. Trainers do need to acknowledge the people that's paying money to be there. Period. I don't care if you're going through some shit. I don't care if you're just trying to make that commission. Damn it, you're going to acknowledge me, damn it. Simply because I get very, very annoyed with that. And then when things like that happen, I try to control myself, but it's just inconsiderate and it's rude, right? So that happened, and I'm like, okay. And to the side of where I was at, there is the battle ropes, right? The battle ropes where it's like you do this and you go up and down with it, T and audience. Again, I had that out as a set. I turn around, it was packed up. And I'm already pumped. And I screamed and I said, I hate people. I don't really hate people. It's the inconsiderate part that people put other people's stuff up, don't realize that somebody was using that. And then there's the guy was like, oh, my bad. It's like, yeah, but I've been doing this for 10 minutes now. You didn't notice that I was using this? Again, I try not to show so much of my angerness at the gym. I wasn't mad at the gentleman that put my battle rope up. It's okay. Genuinely, he probably didn't know, right? I was more mad at this young lady stepping over me in my space, right? I also try to give space from women. This happened yesterday too, where some women, and I ain't gonna go on that banter because that's no other podcast, but let's get into it. Some women, and I'm not sexist, right? But it's true. Some ladies know what they're doing, right? Ladies already have these risque workout outfits on, and I do too. I'm not a lady, but I do too. I got the muscle shirt and my hoochie shorts. Y'all seen it. I do too. Ladies, y'all know what you're doing, right? I've seen it on TikTok where dudes have complaints and they come on TikTok and they complain about it. I'm not going to do that because you wear what you want to wear. I don't care. But the one thing I do, and this happened yesterday where I am on the platform, I'm doing my exercise, I'm doing my crunches, lady with some booty shorts on, in my space, in my bubble, doing the squats. I immediately turned around. And you want to know, when I turned around, I'm doing this thing here. She goes on the other side, comes right back in front of me. I turn right back around. Ladies, I'm not about to fall for that. No. And I only say that because, at the gym, I don't flirt with girls at the gym. I used to when I first started. I don't, because I've learned to accept that I go to the gym for my peace and my prosperity, my sanity. I don't go to hook up with girls. I think I talked about this in the last podcast. I'm just not interested. Oops, I'm not interested anymore. I'm done. I'm done trying to get with a girl. I've been there, done that. I had my feelings hurt twice now. I'm done. Right? I'm there to work out, to continue my weight loss and to continue my muscle gain. I'm just not the boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. I'm just not interested now. I'm interested in money. I'm interested in being successful right now. Sorry. Not sorry. All right, so minus all that, let's talk about it. I did catch Monday Night Raw last night, obviously, Monday night. And let me tell you something about this Raw. I think this Raw was actually pretty good. Lined up, they're getting ready for SummerSlam this weekend. I will be watching both nights, and then on the Broco podcast, I'll do a formal review on SummerSlam on the Broco podcast. So stay tuned at the end of this week for that. So they've been at the place that I've been before, T. Raw was at Little Caesars. Gross pizza. Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. It feels good that they're in cities that I've been to. I've been to Detroit. I've seen Little Caesars Arena. I've seen the GM building. Detroit's very, very beautiful to go to. I would say bundle up if you go to Detroit in December because it's very, very cold up there in the wintertime. But very, very interesting for them to be at the Little Caesars Arena. Here's the match card again. They announced in advance of the show here. Punk and Gunther had a face-to-face. You had a tag team championship match with Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. Then versus the Judgment Day. Finn Balor, JD McDonough. You had Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Nikki Bella, Stephanie Vakir versus Naomi, Chelsea Green, Alba Fire, Piper Niven, the Hervis. And then you had Jey Uso versus Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. They also paid a tribute to Hulk Hogan. Again, Hulk Hogan had passed away last week, so a lot of shows they are dabbling on into doing a tribute to Hulk Hogan. They did the tribute to Hulk Hogan on Friday Night SmackDown, and they did it again for Monday Night Raw. I knew that was coming. I really did when it comes down to it. So they paid the tribute there as well. Jey Uso comes out, tries to cut the promo, and then when he gets ready to do the redo or the do it again of his entrance, Paul Heyman comes out. I get very excited for Paul Heyman because I think he's such a good character. He could sell his character really well. I really do think so. He's getting a lot of boos, which, I mean, if you're Paul Heyman, you like that, right? Because now you're the talk of the town. Very, very interesting within that cut segment, of course. I do like Jey Uso's 4 letters, 1 word, yeet. I always get very excited when he does that. Now, Paul Heyman is calling himself the Oracle. He's playing mind games with Jey Uso before the SummerSlam matchup card. Now, let me tell you, they have a lot of SummerSlam things that are happening that I get very excited for. I'm glad that they're trying to fill the show. I really do. I think it's gonna be worthwhile when they're able to do a good card like that, and they kind of have to, guys, because SummerSlam is almost like WrestleMania. Think about it. You have a 2-night event. You have stack cards. You do have it to where SummerSlam could be a very, very good card. Now, this is the segment here. By the way, we don't own the segment of this, but with the tags, we can play this out for sure.
And now, does
That's
he
Paul
tell
Heyman.
you would have been a better choice as tribal chief, right? Does he tell you now he wants you?
Paul
to be
Heyman's
as
selling
rich
it. Paul Heyman can sell his character really well.
as he is? Because if Roman Reigns told that to you, Roman Reigns lied to you too.
You're tuned into the swanky one, new K.L.P.
You lied to you too.
I want you to know I'm not saying this out of anger, out of malice. I'm saying this because Jey Uso, I
Love you.
You're tuned into the swanky one, new K.L.P.
So pressure's on. Pressure's on for Jey Uso and Roman Reigns because they will be taking on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker at SummerSlam. Now, the next match that we saw, it was AJ Styles and the Kabuki Warriors versus the Judgment Day. It was a mixed match tag team match. And let me tell you something. I don't think we've seen a mixed match tag team match in a very long time, at least that I've seen. So when I saw this on the card, I got very, very excited because I honestly did not know that this was happening. Feels good to have this, of course, at SummerSlam. You're going to have Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Champion. This match was pretty good. I really do like this matchup here. They didn't have any hiccups or anything like that going on within the match that I can see, and I think it worked out very, very well. I always get impressed with Asuka and Kairi Sane because they're always doing those high flying moves, and then you're able to have AJ Styles a part of it. I do think that tag team was kind of interesting, right? Obviously, Kabuki Warriors are going, they're not going against Roxanne Perez and Raquel and SummerSlam for their belts, but they've had some beefs before, and just to see the Kabuki Warriors tag team with AJ Styles, like you just never. That's just a odd. I want to say it was an odd team, but it worked, right? I just never pictured them two being a tag team. When it comes down to it, that match came up really, really good. I honestly do hope that AJ Styles do come out on top, winning the Intercontinental Championship, because it's time, right? AJ Styles did sign another year extension to WWE, right? And after that, he's looking at retirement, which, I mean, he had a very extensive career, right? You wrestling in Japan, TNA. Don't think he was never at AEW, but at least that I know of. And then he comes to WWE. He's been doing WWE. He's made back appearance with TNA because, of course, TNA and WWE got this partnership now. Very extensive career. AJ Styles said, hey, guys, I'm getting tired. I'm getting old. Older, I would say. I'm not saying because I don't think he's that old. Retirement. It's not to say that we won't see AJ Styles after his retirement, because he probably will come out of retirement because he's young, but he's getting older. Maybe he wants to spend more time with family. He's made his money, right? He's made his money. He's made his mark. Everybody knows the phenomenal AJ Styles, right? I think I would geek out if I saw him in the streets of Atlanta. Obviously, he's from Atlanta. I just think he needs that run. He needs that Intercontinental Championship run within his yearly extension contract for WWE. I think it is time. Very, very excited for that. They gave that match a B+ between those two. Of course, Styles and Kabuki Warriors has defeated Judgment Day. I think it's really, really time. The next match that we saw, it was Sheamus versus Grayson Waller. I didn't care too much for this match simply because I try to be a Grayson Wilder fan, guys. I really try to. But I've been saying it for podcasts, that Grayson Waller kind of falls into that category of superstar wrestlers who are kind of like the spoof, kind of like the joke, right? You're on contract for entertainment purposes, so you're going to do this spoof thing. So let's just throw Sheamus into it. Although Sheamus is looking buffer, which is great, because I said it in a few podcasts, where Sheamus comes back. When he came back, he looked blubber. He looked like he ate a lot of hamburgers, right? He's getting buffer. He's getting more lean, right? I am so tired of the Sheamus and Rusev angle. They've done it enough. We now have about 3 matches of Sheamus and Rusev. I get it. I'm not impressed with Rusev. I really am not. Look, it's good to have him back in WWE, I guess. I think they just need to do something else with Rusev. I just don't think this mean Russian thing that he's been doing for years now. This is not a new shtick for him. He's been doing it. It's just more extensive and more meaner this time. That shtick has worked before. To see it work again, I'm just not impressed. Maybe I might be putting my foot in my mouth, audience. I'm just not that impressed with this new Rusev, the whole Sheamus and Rusev angle. I think it's time to put Sheamus back into the championship reign because he's really good. I do like his segment, banger after banger after banger. I do love that. I do laugh when he says that. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the Rusev Sheamus angle. I really am. I'm ready for them to put that to bed. They gave that match a C+. Again, I was at my house watching this match. This was a match where I was in my media room at my house watching this, and I said, I'm going to go downstairs and fix me some ice cream. I know, I had a little treat. Ice cream and some water, I'll be back. Because I just was not tuned into this match. I was not. And then after that, you had Laura Valkyria and Becky. They did the final build for their matchup for sure. Let me tell you something. I'm pressing the wrong button. Boy, howdy. I'm going to say it because I've been saying it a whole heck of a lot. I like Laura Valkyria. Not trying to get sexist on the podcast. But Laura Valkyria, I think she's fine. I really do. I think I like my women who Laura Valkyria, and again, not trying to get gross or sexist on the show, but she looks really good. She looked thick in all the right ways. Like, if I had one night with Laura Valkyria, I probably wouldn't know what to do. I like them shoes. I like the outfit. Obviously, she's rocking the big blue shoes and a blue skirt. Obviously, they're in Detroit, so maybe she's repping the Detroit Lions, right? Good angle play. I do like this thing here. Of course, Laura was very smart. She know her ring awareness. Becky Lynch's music comes out and she's looking towards the stage, but then she had a whip that Becky Lynch was behind her. She do the whip, and then she grabbed the kendo stick and beat the living hell out of Becky Lynch. Right? Very, very good to see that. Let's play a little clip here when it comes down to it. I keep pressing the wrong buttons for sure.
You're tuned into the Swanky One.
Oh, wait a minute.
K.L.P.
Valkyria was a step ahead. Becky Lynch
Look,
came out from out of nowhere with
Bah.
a kendo stick, but Laura
Bah.
Valkyria was ready
Bah.
for Becky,
Bah.
and now
Bah.
unloading on
Bah.
Lynch with a kendo stick,
Bah.
which would be legal on SummerSlam Sunday.
Come on, bah.
Ira swinging that lumber
Bah.
like O'Neal Cruz
Bah.
at the expense of the Intercontinental Champion. And Lynch trying to get the hell out of Dodge.
I just want to know,
Yeah, Becky.
Laura. She's been doing a lot of jumping.
Becky's turn. But Lyra not going to allow it to
Lara's doing a lot of jumping and hopping in them shoes, and that looked like it was very hard to do. I do love that.
You're tuned into the Swanky One, new K.L.P.
That's gonna be. I hope that match is gonna be a slobber knocker. I really do. Very, very interesting for Lara. Again, she looked very good. She's rocking them skirts. It's more of a skirt shorts combination. Obviously, she's gonna have to wear some safety pants under that skirt because if she didn't, oh boy, you're giving us a show. But like I say, Lara Valkyria, I am a big fan of her. I think she's fine. I ain't trying. Look, I hate to get gross, but Lara Valkyria is fine. Her fiance, you better never let that go, because at this point, and then we did see Bayley. They cut a promo with Bayley. Bayley is stuck and she's lost. She's not slated for SummerSlam. She missed WrestleMania. She's not a champion. I feel bad for Bayley. But it's just not her time, right? It's just not her time. She got to focus on other things. And then we also saw Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn promo, which looked I like how the way they cut the promos. I really do. So it was Corey Graves interviewed Sami Zayn, and Corey Graves got interrupted by Karrion Kross. Crazy ass Karrion Kross. I do like it that we got Corey Graves back into more TV. Corey Graves, I try to be a fan of his, but obviously we know Corey Graves had some beef with Pat McAfee when Pat McAfee was on Raw. And then I think in that podcast I said that Corey Graves needs to, again, good commentator, better than me in this thing, right? But he started something with Pat McAfee that nearly got this man fired. I'm glad to see Corey Graves back as commentator for Raw and NXT. I think now Corey Graves knows to keep his mouth shut, keep his head down, and do what the bosses tell him to do. If you're not on TV, don't get upset. Don't tweet about it. If you got somebody that took your space, don't be mad about it. Be humble. It's business. And I think now Corey Graves is learning that now, because now we're seeing a lot more Corey Graves on TV, right? Down to these interviews, down to him being commentator for Raw, right? Keep your mouth shut. And I think Corey Graves knows that now, right? If I was a commentator for Raw, and I wish I was, right? I wish I could sit next to Michael Cole and commentate on Raw. That would be a dream job. But if I was Corey Graves and they say, Corey, we're going to put you on NXT because we got Pat McAfee. He's hot right now. He's making us millions. He's going to take your place for a second. I'd be like, all right, cool. I get it. Long as I'm not fired, I understand. I'll go to NXT and I'll do my thing there. It's business. I don't take it personal. But we did see that cut promo, and that promo was cut really, really well. I like the way they filmed it. I think I hope all these matches at SummerSlam are going to be sloppy knockers. I really do, because it's SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium. WWE has to sell it, right? So we'll wait to see what happens with that. We did see an 8-woman tag team match. Of course, you had, like I mentioned, you had Io Sky, Stephanie Vaquer, Rhea Ripley, and Nikki Bella versus Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, Alba Fire, and Naomi. It's good to see that. Of course, we saw Nikki Bella and Chelsea Green. They go toe-to-toe at it for a second. I'm a big fan of both. My attention was not on them that much. My attention was Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer, oh my living God. Stephanie Vaquer, she's making a mark. Can't wait to see what she does at Clash of Paris, right? Stephanie Vaquer is here to stay, right? She's really, really dope. I like when she does the, the Devil's Kiss, because I do the Booker T every time, like the I do that every time when I see them do the move, because it reminds me of Booker T going crazy and going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when Stephanie Vaquer does that move. Rhea Ripley, I'm a big fan of Mommy. I've seen her live. Boy, howdy, she looked good. Rhea Ripley looks good. She's ready for it. She's ready for some angles there. We are going to see Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Naomi triple threat match at SummerSlam. I do like the crazy-ass Naomi angle. Naomi getting crazy, laughing, proceed with caution. I love that character. I like it when Naomi says, "You heifers." That, let me tell you something. When she does that, I get super, super happy and I laugh every time. And all you heifers in the back, let me tell you, I love it. I'm here for it. Not big fans of the Hervers, Piper Niven, Applefire. Just give them something to do. They're valet. I hate to say that because they're Piper Niven and Applefire. They're dope at what they do, but they're valet for Chelsea Green right now. Not a fan. It's just the angle. Is the segment is something they're selling. Okay, but they give that match a B plus because Ripley, Vakir, Sky, and Bella, they won that matchup for sure. Then you had the LWO and the Judgment Day. You had a lot of holy shit moments in this match. Of course, I really was thinking that the LWO was going to get this match. I really thought that was going to do it. Not really big on the Americano angle. Obviously, we know that that's Liquid Kaiser in the tall one and Chad Gable's the smaller one, right? Here's what I think is going to happen, though. Eventually, I think we're going to have two El Grande Americanos. I think we're going to have the two Liquid Kaiser and Chad Gable. They're going to go for the tag team champions. That's kind of what I'm seeing in this, right? They interfered with this match. Obviously, American Made, they missed out on this match last night because they lost last week. But I do see WWE doing this angle to where we're probably going to see two El Grande Americanos, a.k.a. Ludwig Kaiser and Chad Gable, going against the Judgment Day for the tag team titles. I do feel that that's coming. I think that's something that they're working on. But Joaquin Wilde and hold on, let me get the names right. LWO, Joaquin Wilde, and I'm butchering what the Del Toro. Sorry, they gave us a good match. I really thought they were going to win. They gave us a lot of holy shit moments. They really did. High flying. I think LWO has grown. Del Toro and Wilde, I think they've grown as superstars. I think they got a little bit more comfortable. They're becoming more of wrestlers and superstars more than they were in Valet, right? LWO with Selena Vega, Dominic Mysterio was part of that at one point, and then Rey Mysterio, obviously they were valets to those two people because they were hot at that time. But I honestly do think now they're trying to express that LWO is coming out of their skin. With the interference with both El Grande Americano, of course, the Judgment Day does defeat LWO for the Tag Team Championship matchup. And then we had the hype of Gunther versus CM Punk, of course. CM Punk spit bars at SummerSlam for the cut for SummerSlam. He gave us a lot. Let's play a little bit.
You're tuned into the Swanky One, new K.L.P.
You are correct. I don't deserve to call myself the
And
best
that's
in
CM
the world.
Punk, y'all.
I earned
He
the
gave
right
a shout out to
call myself the best in
the
world.
Detroit hockey
And
team
I
too.
earned the right to call myself the best in the world.
Best in the
and be
world.
arrogant about it, but you are out here as world heavyweight champion, being as arrogant as me, but you can't back it up.
You're
I
tuned
am
into the
trail of
Swanky One,
bodies, a hall
new
of famers,
K.L.P.
legends, and superstars that you've only dreamed to be in the ring with. And when you compare your career, as great as it's been so far, with my career, this isn't apples to apples.
You know what, Punk? I have enough of that. Shut down.
You're tuned into the Swanky One, new K.L.P.
This promo was cut so good. CM Punk did real good in this promo.
There's levels to this kid.
Kid. He called him a kid. Don't call him a boy. He called him a kid.
On Saturday, you are not on my level.
Hey.
For as great as you are, Saturday night.
You're tuned into the Swanky One,
I'm
new
leaving world
K.L.P.
heavyweight champion. But hey, at least you'll be able to share a ring and finally feel what it's like to be in the ring with the one, the only best in the world,
CM Punk.
You're tuned into the Swanky One,
so
new K.L.P.
That promo was cut so good. Punk and that promo, Bleacher Report gave that promo an A. I got to give it an A+. That promo was cut really good. I want to say, I think it is time for CM Punk to be champion. It's time. It's time. Simply because he's been there for a second and the hype is real. Everybody is fiending for Punk to go for a World Heavyweight Championship. And at SummerSlam, I want to see that happen. I think there's going to be a sloppy knockover match because CM Punk gave us a lot of great matches this last few months, right? But it is time for him to become champion. He's cutting it up. I do think, don't make this match quick, right? Because Gunther is Gunther's good at what he does. But it's time for Punk to get his moment, right? It's time. Build up because you got to sell SummerSlam, right? And before we know it, WrestleMania is going to be here, right? You got to cut it. But my vote is on CM Punk. The finale was Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. That was a great match too. A lot of high flying moves, a lot of things that's going on. That match was quite good to watch again. I'm a big fan of the, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. I get it. I understand the angle. I'm curious to see what WWE is going to do because Seth Rollins is out. He's hurt. He's seriously hurt from a knee injury. So it's like, okay, how are you going to do that? Is it all a work or will that be who's going to cash in that Money in the Bank? Will they come out on top for SummerSlam? Of course, we've got Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso and Roman Reigns back at SummerSlam. Very, very excited for that as well. Good to see Roman Reigns back when it comes down to it. And then the all part of the plan, Braun Breaker comes out, gives Jey Uso that spear. That spear looked painful. And it was very good for WWE because they went over the 10:30 mark. Usually I watch when the Raw goes off, and typically Raw goes off at 10:30. They went a little over, which it was great because when you're streaming on Netflix, you can go over. So they went a little bit over when it comes down to that. And of course, they get this beat up. They got to beat up Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. Tsunami twice on both of them. Braun Breaker sent a spear on both of them. I think this all the build up and the work. I can't wait to see what happens. Of course, Uso does defeat Reed via disqualification of Braun Breaker. So again, the anticipation is build up. Again, Bleacher Report gives this Raw a B. It was a good show. It was a long show, but it was a great show, and I can't wait to see what happens at SummerSlam when it comes down to it. It's going to be really, really cool to see when it comes down to it. So moving on from our review here, this is going to be a long podcast. I try to give y'all a little bit of a long podcast because y'all love it. Here's the top story here on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Some of y'all might know this, and some of y'all don't. Let's do it.
K.L.P. has all the topics, stories, and gossip. It is now time for our top story from K.L.P.
All right, so the top story goes out to this flight attendant. Of course, this flight attendant, I get it, but I think when you work currently as a flight attendant for an airline, you kind of have to be careful what you say on social media. I am a firm believer that if you work for these top corporations, you can't just say whatever you want and think that there's no repercussions. So a flight attendant spills 5 dirty secrets about flying. Then there's a video. This is presented by WorldStar.com. Of course, we like to rely on WorldStar with some of this. Let's hear what she has to say, y'all. If we'll play.
Bored with
we
your
got those
current
advertisements
setup?
coming in.
Looking-
Don't you hate advertisement, y'all? I really do. Man, they give me the advertisement for a ticker because I looked at how much tickers cost.
5 things I would not do if I was flying as a regular passenger.
Let us know,
1,
honey.
Never, ever would I take my shoes off and walk up and down the aisle.
Yeah, that's true. I'd never do that.
Never in a million years. Just never.
So and we're gonna dissect this. Yeah, I'd never do that either. Floors are nasty. Plane floors are nasty. Even though airlines, they say that they clean their floors and their seats and whatnot. I think they have cleaned it. I really do. When I was going to Chicago, and not the globe, but we flew first class, and there was some residue on my seat. And luckily, I had those two. There was 2 flight attendants. They were very cute, by the way. I said, hey, there's some substance on this seat. I don't know what that is. Do you guys have any napkins? So I wasn't sitting on that. And then the flight attendant's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So true story. Again, not getting gross, but this is a true story. you know how like when you go in your seat on the aisle, and in the first class, their seat's a little bit more spacious, but you know, I got up and said, I can't sit on that. So she comes with a napkin in my seat. I was like, oh, you ain't gonna let me get out first? So you can. So she was like right in front of me. I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to, you know. She got in front of me and she bent down. She's wiping, and then I'm right behind her, like, lady, you gonna let me get up first and get out your way? She wasn't having that. That's a whole nother story for another day. I go on to say, yes, you got to be careful with floors with planes. I honestly think some airline, the cleanup crew, they have cleaned it. I'm sorry, guys, if you work on planes, I just think you do. I think they have to just clean it by the standard. They don't extra clean it and keep it super duper tidy. I do like it that at O'Hare, they're doing this in O'Hare in Chicago. They're doing this at Atlanta, Hartsfield-Jackson down the street in Clayton County, where when you're going through the airport security, TSA, you don't have to take your shoes off, which is great. Those floors are nasty. Nasty. You're going to catch feet fungus if you do that. If you take your shoes off at TSA, I believe it. And you might catch feet fungus on the airlines. So I do agree with that point. Don't take your shoes off at TSA. Don't take your shoes off at the airport.
Never. Just never.
Number 2.
I'm going to wear clothes that covers my full body. I'm not going to wear shorts and a tank top. I'm going to most likely have on a long sleeve with pants. I don't want my bare skin.
Touching anything.
You see what I'm saying? 3.
I get that point. I do wear short sleeve shirts and some joggers at the airport. For an example, when we went to Chicago, I wore a black sweatpants and a short sleeve shirt, kind of like this one, but it was black. The reason why you should not wear so much clothing, because through TSA, you got to take all that off. When I first traveled on an airplane, I had a ring, I had a necklace, I had a hat, I had just all this jewelry on, I had all these clothing on, because I wanted to fit the style. TSA made me take all that off, and it's so stressful. So, keynote for a lot of people, what she's saying, I kind of get not wearing clothes that cover, because you don't know what bacteria might travel. But I don't wear a whole heap, a lot of clothes, especially if it's hot season or cold season, right? When it's cold season, I'm wearing short sleeve pants, shoes, and a jacket. Maybe when it's cold season in Chicago, last weekend it was hot season, so I just wore my shoes, socks, underwear, of course, joggers, and shirt, and that's it, and my glasses, and that's it. I didn't wear a watch. I didn't wear jewelry. I packed that stuff up because I just don't want to be in the mix of having to take all that stuff out via TSA, right? So I semi-agree.
The lavatory bathroom should be like the last resort. You should use the bathrooms in the airport before you use the bathrooms on the airplane. First of all, the bathrooms on the airplane are small.
Yeah, they are.
Like, think of a refrigerator. It's probably smaller than that.
Nah, no.
It's not a lot of move around.
Unless it's a big commercial refrigerator, then yeah.
Just use the bathroom in the airport prior to getting on the plane. The lavatory should be last resort.
So I agree with that, honey, simply because, I disagree with that, honey, simply because the airport bathrooms are even gross. And I know for damn sure folks at Hartsfield-Jackson don't clean them bathrooms in there. I know that for damn sure. They don't clean that up real well. It smells like piss in there. I'm sure, because guys are gross, we're gross. I'm sure the women's bathroom, I'm assuming because I don't know what's in there. Their bathroom's probably cleaner than the guy's bathroom at the Hartsfield-Jackson. Airport bathrooms are even more gross. Laboratory, it's standard that they clean them. I do agree. It is small. I would say, yes, go to the bathroom to pee. I would never shit in the laboratory because it doesn't really clean it sustainably like an actual plumbing system in the airport or in the airplane. So if I got to use the bathroom in the laboratory, I'm going to pee. If I have to take a shit, I don't shit in the airport. I'm not going to shit in the laboratory. I'm going to wait until I get to my hotel to shit properly, comfortably. So I do disagree with that. I think the airport bathrooms are even worse
4. If I'm group 8 or 9,
yeah,
and I see an open space in any overhead bin, I'm going to go ahead and put my bag in there.
Okay, I
because why would I wait till I get to row 33?
Yeah.
And now it's no space. I done passed up all the space. And now I'm looking like where I'm going to put my bag. So I'm just going to select the first space that's available so I know that my bag is on that plane with me.
Okay.
5.
So I got a hot take on that.
Least.
We're going to pause on you, honey. I got a hot take on that. This is something that I've noticed in Chicago. Going to Chicago, this is something I noticed in Punta Cana. What she says when she sees the first space to put her overhanging cabinet, I agree with that, right? Because if you put it up here, as long as you got everything you need, you put it up here on row 8, but your seat's way back there, it's not going anywhere. It's already up there. No one's going to steal it. You can clearly see it. It's closed in concealed area. It's not going anywhere. My hot take is this. I am not a fan of airlines giving people a free bag check. Because I noticed this in Chicago. I noticed it in Punta Cana. Every time I travel, I pay the $35 extra to check my bag at the gate. So that way it's under the plane. So I ain't got to worry about it. It drives me nuts that folks will bring their full luggage on the plane because they don't want to pay that $35 extra cost, which I get. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. And I'm not calling people broke. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. I understand that. I've been able to where I can't afford some shit. I just swallow my pride and say, hey, I can't afford it. But I don't think it's fair that if I paid $35 for my bag check and then when we get to the gate, they say that we have a full flight. If you want to check a bag in, you can do it for free. That is so not fair for me. Because why do I have to pay $35 to check my bag, but Jimmy John over here, he can get his bag checked for free because he know what he's doing. He's like, oh, I'm not going to check my bag because they're going to give it to me for free anyway. I don't think that that's fair. I think if people had to pay to get their bags checked and you get an announcement that a full flight, I think for folks who can't, if the full flight is full, bags are full, they should pay $35 to get their bag checked if they're under and here's the thing too. It's not small bags that will be a carry-on, right? That's not what I'm saying. It's not a small bag. If it's like a little briefcase that you're going to bring on the plane with you, I'm not saying about that. I get it. But it be folks with their full out of size, overweight bag that they're trying to carry on as their carry-on because they don't want to pay that $35 price, right? And then airlines it will be over the 60-pound weight limit, big, but some people are like, okay, yeah, you're good. But then they say, okay, we can check that in for you for free. I think it should be a requirement. If you have luggage that is over the 60-pound weight limit and oversized and you want to bring it to you, I say, hey, you need to pay the $35 to get this bag because this bag needs to be checked. You're just trying to go cheap and not pay for it. If you don't want to check this bag in, your bag ain't coming on the plane. You're going to be without luggage. Sorry. Cough up $35. I only say that because I'm not a mean person, but I really don't think it's fair that customers who pay to get their bag checked, but then you see people on the same flight, oh, I got my bag checked for free because it was a full flight and I waited and they said I can get it for free. I don't think that's fair. Will airlines change that? Probably not. That's just my hot take. Even my mama, I travel with my mama. She agrees with me. She don't like it that she had to pay to get her bag checked, but then Sally Sue and Jimmy John over there that's traveling the same place as me, oh, we're going to wait to see what they say because we can get our bags checked for free. I don't think it's fair. I really don't. But it happens. It really does happen.
I'm never
Here's number 5.
Laying my head down on the tray table.
I agree with that.
I'm just not. I'm not putting my face.
I agree.
I don't want my face to touch that.
I agree because simply you don't know if they, like I say, honestly, I don't know. I don't work on planes, so I'm just spitballing, being funny here on the podcast. I think they don't clean them planes well. I really don't. I don't think they clean the trays well. You got a lot of kids that are on the flight, snotty nose, snotty-nosed kids and blistering kids and sick kids on this flight. You got a lot of adults who are gross, right? You've got people who order food that spill food on there. You got a lot of folks who are just gross, right? So I never have I used a tray table, yes, to lay my Coke down that they give me so I ain't got to hold it and relax. I've done it to where I've cracked over my laptop because I had to get some work done. I'm going to need a tray table, right? If I'm not using my knees and my lap, I'm using the tray table, so I get it. I wouldn't put my face on it either, especially to go to sleep. Honestly, I don't sleep well on the plane anyway. Any flight that I've took in my whole life so far, I've never been able to have successful sleep. Even with a neck pillow, it's uncomfortable still. I just don't sleep on planes. I just don't. So some of those takes, I really do agree. I really agree with some of those takes. Again, it's just... And she's cautious of bacteria and germs. I'm a germaphobe too, right? I hate germs. I hate bacteria. I hate it when kids sneeze and they don't cover their mouth. I even hate it when adults sneeze and don't cover their mouth, right? I've seen it to where even at the gym, this one trainer, she sneezed and a whole bunch of stuff came out. I'm like, and you can see the reflection. I'm like, ugh, ugh, cover your mouth. One of those things I can take for that as well. She's right on some of these takes. I think she's right. I think she's valid in her opinions and her thoughts. You just got to be careful because if you work for a big corporation airline, you got to be careful what you say. You got to watch out for the kids. And speaking of kids, guys, here is my elephant of the room here. Let me see if I can get my button pulled up here when it comes down to the elephant of the room.
Some of y'all might know this, and some of y'all don't. Let's do it.
Long podcast. Hope y'all like it.
K.L.P. Who's the biggest elephant today?
All right, so the biggest elephant today of the podcast goes out to all the parents who are not buying the school supply list. I'm joking. Hear me out. So the last few days, social media has been going out really, really well, especially on TikTok, because teachers have sent out the school supply list for the babies, the kiddos, the children in school. I want to preface this first before I get to this topic of conversation. I do want to say I see both sides. I really do see both sides of the spectrum. I don't want to shame parents with kids so much because obviously I am not married. I don't have kids. I am one of those people. I've said it last episode. I will say it again this episode. I am one of those people, and I'm looking right into the camera. I do not want kids. I don't want to have kids. I don't want kids. I'm not strong enough to have kids. I am not about that life. I've said it last episode. I'll say it again. I do not want kids. Sorry. We saw that the news about in 2024 in U.S. Having babies have decreased. Population and reproductive of kids and babies have decreased. Rightfully so. I'm one of those. I'm in that statistic. I do not want kids. No, that's a big no for me. So I say that to say that because I don't want to come off as mean to the parents who have kids because I don't know what that's like. I never will know what that's like. I don't want to know what that's like. But I've got to say, I completely understand when it comes down to teachers, right? I am an educator myself. I do it mostly at the higher ed level. I don't do it at public schools, K through 12. I don't. I have a lot of friends who work through K through 12 programs and schools. I saw their TikTok and they gave their opinion. Let me tell y'all something. And like I say, I don't have kids. I don't want kids. I see both sides of the spectrum. I do. Teachers don't get paid enough. I gotta say, I think teachers, educators, and even professors do not get paid enough. They don't. To the fact is, teachers, and I'm talking to teachers. I can't talk to professors because that's another podcast for another episode. Teachers are fed up. You genuinely, again, I see both sides of the spectrum. I'm going to get on the other side of the spectrum in a second. But parents do see school as a daycare, as a free daycare where they can drop them little hooligans off so they can be able to do what they want to do with their day. I also know I have some parents who drop their kids off because they have to go to work. For those parents who drop their kids off and have to go to work, I commend you because you're working hard. And for those parents who drop their kids off because they have to go slave away at some office, they are going to buy their school supply list. Whatever the teachers need, they're going to buy that school supply list because they know that teachers don't get paid enough. They know they got to deal with Nene Bebe's kids. Sorry, I got to say it. Bebe's kids who act up, who cut up, who cuss their parents out. I've seen it even personally. I've seen where a kid cussing their parents out at the grocery store. Mind you, if I cussed my mama and daddy out when I was a kid, my ass would be on the floor. Child Protective Services might have been called. And I'm joking, mom and dad, but I was well behaved when I was a kid. Kenneth and Daphne make sure that they punish their kids. Those are my parents' names, by the way. They make sure we didn't act up in public. So I when I see kids today, shut up, mom. Excuse me? I'm 29 and I'm about to become 30 next year. I don't cuss my parents out, even at the age of 29. And I never will. Now, have I had some disagreements with my parents? Yes, every kid has. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit there and cuss my parents out. Even at age 29, I don't do that. And I'm a grown-ass man. But you be right. These 10-year-olds are doing it to their young parents, right? And I can't fathom that. I can't. These teachers are pissed off about that because in reality, Walmart, Target, even Amazon, Walmart has it to where you can get a box of pencils for 50 cents. Let me tell you why Walmart does that. Is because they know they're going to make billions upon trillions of dollars this school semester because they're marketing the school supplies boxes of pencils for 50 cents because that's affordable. And Walmart is going to make trillions of dollars in upsell because their school supply lists are so low that they're going to, it pay less. It's a rollback. Let me tell you something to these parents. Again, I see both sides of the spectrum. I'm just saying this for the podcast, but I don't have kids, so I don't know too much. But you guys can afford boxes of pencil for 50 cents. Let me tell you, especially in the younger education, right? When you're in preschool, kindergarten, 1st through 5th grade, you got a lot of snotty-nosed kids. Kids who are sick. Kids sneezing all over the place. Kids don't know how to cover their mouths. And now you have other kids getting sick, and they have to stay home because they got sick from another kid. So that's why teachers need an extra boxes of Kleenex, an extra thing of hand sanitizer. Right? That's why teachers do it. Teachers, I'm going to say this. I'd be damned if I was a teacher, spend money out of my paycheck to make sure these kids, look, if I was a teacher and I had to come out of pocket for this and it was optional, I was like, hey kids, we ain't gonna have it. We just gonna be without because we ain't got it. Sorry, we ain't got it. Because I'm not about to spend my paycheck when I need to pay my rent, pay my car note, my phone bill to make sure the kids are good. And I'm for the kids, I really am. But I'd be damned if I'm gonna use my personal money. I do think a lot of parents need to go to these parent-teacher conferences, talk to your board of education, your superintendent, because honestly, they need to be funding this stuff, not the teachers. Parents, if you got to, and this shiver, and I say chivalry is dead, but it takes a village. That saying, that's dead too. I do think we are selfish. I think a lot of people are selfish in this world. I think a lot of people don't think about the outcome of the community because we just don't care anymore. We care about ourselves. To a certain degree, I'm like that too, right? I'm selfish. I say I don't want kids because I'm selfishly thinking about myself. I'm selfishly thinking about how much kids are going to be. That's why I don't want kids, because I want it all to myself, right? So maybe I'm a part of the problem in that aspect. But when it says it takes a village, where you have kids and schools need some money from parents, not a whole lot. Parents making it seem like they need $1 million. The parents making it seem that teachers need $1 million for each parent. No. An extra $20 is what teachers need for school supplies, right? And if you don't want to help teachers out, cool. Homeschool your kids then, right? I do remember when I was a kid in grade school, my parents, they didn't buy hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of school supply for everybody. No, but they make sure that they supply an extra source of something for the school supply list. So that way, within the whole entire year, the school can set up for success. Right? A notebook costs 50 cents, parents. You got to be ready. Again, I say very lightly because, again, I don't have kids, so I can't really preach this too hard. But you got to be ready to have the kid responsibilities and supporting the kids if you're going to have kids. And if you're not ready for that, then you're just not ready. Now, on the other end, I understand that some parents, they can't afford it. Really, parents can't afford an extra $30 for something. They can't. And if you are a parent like that, I pray for you. But it's real. Economy's up. Rent is high. Bills are high. Groceries are high. And they're not going down. One reason why I don't want kids, T, because it's expensive out here. It's a crazy, expensive, wild America we living in right now. And parents, they just ain't got it. Some parents don't. I get it. Parents who say, it's not my responsibility to take care of other people's kids. That's not what teachers are saying in particular. Not in particular. Because let me tell you, I think parents who teach their kids that to be selfish to a certain degree, right? Again, I think I'm selfish too. Again, people ask why I don't want kids. I think I want all my money to myself. Why I ain't in a relationship? I want it all to myself. That part I agree with. I'm in that spectrum. But if you are a parent and don't want to buy extra school supplies, again, true, it's your money. You do what you want to with your money. But then you're kind of teaching your kids to be selfish, right? You're teaching them to be hardcore. You're teaching them not to have a heart, right? I think when I was a kid too, my parents taught me right from wrong. They taught me to wear your heart on your sleeve. Don't get taken advantage of. Yes. But my parents, they know right from wrong. They really do. They taught us that, hey, it's okay to share a pencil. If somebody just don't have extra money for a pencil, don't worry. I got an extra pencil. Just use this one. That's called having a good heart. And that sucks because parents, and I got to blame it on the young parents, really. Some young parents now, they don't have a good heart because they had kids so young, they don't know. Some parents, I can't say all, some parents, they want to be selfish because they wish they were selfish with their lives. But they spread the legs open and the guy was able to knock it in at age 20 and now they have kids young. So it could be that, ladies and gentlemen, it could be that young parents are like this and they're angry about the school supply list because they wish they had their life back. They wish they didn't have kids. They wish they could turn up and do the things that they used to do. But once you have a kid, all of that changes. It does. I say to a lot of teachers as we wrap the pod, teachers, don't take this to heart. You can't, unfortunately, you can't force somebody to pay for something they don't want to pay for. You can't. I do say to the parents who buy the extra school supply, the extra $5 school supply, God bless you, right? I think you have a good heart, and let me tell you, good karma comes a long way. I am a firm believer of good and bad karma. You do good in this life, you perform a good act. You don't do it for the good karma sometimes, but sometimes that good karma comes back to you. I'm a firm believer in that. I also am a firm believer that if you perform evil, you do bad, you don't care, you get selfish, and then it doesn't work well, karma's a bitch. It is. I'm a firm believer in that. Because God sees all, right? That's why I pray to God each and every day to make sure I continue to do the very best I can and have a good heart. Do a lot of parents who can't afford the extra groceries. I get it. It's hard. Parenting is hard. I say that very lightly. Again, I don't have kids, so I can't say too much about it. But what I've seen, parenting is hard. I can only go based off what I've seen. I have friends who are young parents and they are struggling because they have kids and they have to afford food. They can't buy all the things they want to buy. And let me tell you something too. Because I saw this on TikTok along with school supplies. They wouldn't buy an extra $10 school supply. Have y'all heard of that spray ground bags? The spray ground bags that's been going viral. They look like the smoke shop book bags. Those book bags do look kind of cool. I will say that. But parents, young parents are funny. They don't want to buy an extra $10. Some parents, I will say, some parents don't want to buy the extra $10 school supply, but they're gonna buy their kid a fourth grader, third grader, second grader, a spray ground smoke shop looking book bag that looks cool for them to bust up, for them to ruin. Let me tell you, when you buy your kid something so very expensive, your young kid something so very expensive, they don't appreciate it as much. They tear it up. It ripped. They got mud on it. They threw it around, right? They waste something in it. Young kids don't appreciate premium, valuable things. It's even crazier for me that first graders got iPhones now and iPads. I think that's crazy. Because again, when I was a kid, when I was in second grade, I didn't have an iPad because iPad didn't exist. But I didn't have a cell phone when I was in second grade. I had toys when I was in second grade. Right? Nowadays, kids who are 5 years old got an iPhone, they got a PlayStation, they got a Switch, they got an iPad. And it's like the weirdest thing. To me, that's weird. And maybe because I'm in the millennial stage, I'm 29, so I'm halfway between millennial, and I don't really want to claim Gen Z because I think, no. But that's what they have now. You got parents who are buying kids their like a Louis Vuitton book bag or a Gucci belt or just Gucciing them down, like just really, dripping them down in swag for them to waste something in it because it looks good. And my baby gonna look a certain way. My baby gonna look like they got money. Right? I will say, it does take a village. And one more thing, too, because I've seen this on TikTok, too. The parents, again, I'm kind of going back on the spectrum on the teacher side a little bit. Parents that I've seen on TikTok that's complaining on this, government assistance in Section 8. Like I say, at the beginning of this segment, I see both sides. Parents who are on Section 8, government assistance, food stamps, I get it. I get it. I don't judge you for that. You need help? I get it. I won't judge parents who unfortunately have to do this because they just really cannot afford food and they're really struggling. They have to get on these government assisted programs. I get it. On the other hand, you got parents. First of all, by the grace of God, I am blessed every day. I am not on food stamps. I am not Section 8. I don't use any government assistance on anything. By the grace of God, it's not me gloating. It's not me bragging. But by the grace of God, I pray to this man every day. By the grace of God, I'm not on those programs. I don't judge people who are on those programs. I'm thankful that I'm not. I will say, it is not a flex to announce on social media, an internet platform, that you are proud to have government assistance, that you are proud to be in Section 8. It's not something that you flex. It's not something that you brag on. If, by the grace of God, I'm not. If I was in Section 8 or government assistance or food stamps, that's something I don't announce to my friends. That's something I don't announce to my family members. That's something I don't throw out on TikTok and say that I'm on. I keep that very private. That's something like keeping your Social Security very, very sacred and very, very private. The same parents who don't want to afford an extra $10 school supply for teachers for help. Some of those parents are the same parents that go, I'm in Section 8, I got my government check, my baby gonna do this, I'm gonna get my hair did. And I was speaking in a lady term. Guys do this too. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure my son get this thing. I'm on Section 8, I got a government check, I'm gonna make sure my foot. That's not a flex, homie. It's not. You think it is in your delusional mind. That's not a flex. I say to a lot of parents, if you are disagreeing with the school supply, you need to go to the parent-teacher assembly, the parent-teacher conference, book a meeting with the Board of Education directors, book a meeting or a conference call with the superintendent of that program, of that county, of that school, and try to come up with the solution. And let me tell you, it is not the teacher's job to go to the book bag fair or the school back to school bash to get free supplies. That is not their job. I think if you can't afford the extra school supply, parents need to go to the back to school bash. What you think is going to happen when teachers have to do that? They're not going to say, teacher's not going to go to this back to school bash or the school drive to say, I got a class of 25 students. I need 25 book bags. I need 25 crayons. I need 20. People that's working that drive, they're going to be like, you delusional. You can have one box of crayon and one book bag because we've got thousands of other parents that's coming to the drive that need supplies too. It's crazy out here, man. It's crazy. I hope this goes really well. I just wanted to talk about it for sure. Again, I don't have that much skin. I don't have kids. I don't want kids. I can't speak too much on this segment. I say to the parents who have kids, God bless you. That's all I can say. God bless you. I don't know what that world is like. To struggle and to be needing help and trying to figure out school supply. I ain't got to worry about that. So I don't know. But to the parents who do give, God bless you. For the parents who don't, God bless you as well. You know, I don't shame on either side of the spectrum. It is what it is. It's their prerogative. That's how they do it. Who am I to judge? Boy, howdy, that's going to wrap up on the podcast. An hour and 22 minutes, T. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. I know we talked about a lot as I'm picking up here on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more Bro Code podcasts. And of course, me and Evelyn, we're going to be back here in the studio for What Had Happened Was podcast. Don't miss out on that. That's coming Friday. That's going to be a slobberknocker of a podcast. So we got a lot of things to catch up on, me and Evelyn in our studio as well. We hope that y'all like the show. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're watching it, the video version of this podcast. And if you're listening to this on any audio platform you get your podcast from, we thank you guys so very much as well. That's going to do it for our program here, K.L.P. Aftermath, presented by iHeart Media. We'll see you guys in the next episode of the podcast. And for now, I say so long, stay safe, stay swanky, peace.